Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel. This is my review, non-spoiler review of Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this has been a big movie that everyone's been anticipating. I have to say I enjoyed Tom Holland in Captain America Civil War. I didn't want to build my anticipation too much up for this movie leading into it, but I knew as the date got closer, I got more and more excited about the film. And I have to say, this was a wonderful entry into the Spider-Man pantheon of movies at this point, since around 2000 with the Raimi trilogy, and then the decent, even though I won't agree on the second movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man was a decent reboot, but retreaded too much of what was done in the Raimi movie. So they decided to go totally different for our Sony Pictures, this in collaboration with Marvel Studios, to do this movie. And I have to say that worked out for the best for everyone involved. This was a strong outing for Tom Holland. He's such a young actor, but he showed so much gravitas in his performance in the movie, and showing that he's really, and I liked all the previous actors that played Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire, also with Andrew Garfield, which I feel sad that as good as a Peter Parker Spider-Man I thought he was, that he never had the movies to live up to the performance. We've seen him move on and do great things in other movies. He had a strong year this past year. Tom Holland seems to be cut from that same kind of ilk or same cloth, that he's gonna be a big star in Hollywood for years to come. You could definitely tell. He stood up to a very strong cast of characters and put in a really good performance. I really enjoyed his Peter. He sells me on that. I love the fact that they kind of stuck to the classic Stan Lee and Steve Ditko early beginnings of the character, because we haven't really seen it done well. They showed Peter in high school in previous movies, but not in this much detail, and I think it fits because it was something different that the other movies didn't give us, not this extensively anyway. So it was good to see that they focused on that. And the cast they put around him in the high school setting was really strong. I didn't know much about Zendaya. I really liked her performance in the movie. His friend Ned, I can't remember the actor's name, just was a really good counterpoint to him, and they had very great chemistry. Overall, I think this was, I have to say, though it was in a very highly anticipated movie, it was one of my biggest surprises of the summer as far as movies. I kind of felt like the movie was going to be good, but I was going in apprehensive because, sometimes as comic fans, you can get really hyped up for a big release like this, and then a lot of times we leave out disappointed in the final product. With this, I could say I was pleasantly surprised. It's the first movie I could say, as a huge comics fan and just a movie enthusiast as I am, that I could say in a long time that's a movie I could go back and I would pay again to see. I won't wait for it to come out on home video. I might, before the summer's out, we'll go back and see Spider-Man Homecoming. That's how much I enjoyed it. I just want to say, going in, it's not your typical superhero movie. It is not jam-packed with action from beginning to end. This has story. It is story arcs and character arcs with a lot of different characters in this movie. I can't speak highly enough. Also, if I'm going to praise Tom Holland, I have to praise Michael Keaton. Really good. To me, honestly, second best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, out besides Loki. They really did a good job setting up his story and his arc. He was paid just as much attention to in less time. So they've proven now, Marvel is running out of excuses of not having well-developed villains at this point, because they were able to strike a balance. And maybe it was because of they were doing this in cooperation with Sony, and them checking and balancing one another. They made sure, or maybe they're starting to listen to their fans, and you don't have to dedicate a ton of time to it and still be able to develop your villain just as much as your hero, so you kind of understand his point of view and make you care about his actions. You really understood, and at points you kind of root for the Vulture in some ways, and you can understand why he chose to do what he did. To that extreme, not so much, but you can kind of understand his point of view on why he went into a life of crime and committed some of the acts he did to an extreme. And most people won't go that far, but you understood it, and I really dug that. And they need to do that more going forward with their movies, with their villains, so they carry more weight on screen instead of just being cannon fodder for the hero. I highly recommend this movie. It's worth seeing. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. It's been a while. I think maybe Captain America, The Winter Soldier was the last movie I thought was a straight on 10, if I remember correctly. But this is definitely a 9 out of 10. It's family friendly. You can take the whole family to see it, to enjoy it. It's funny. But again, it is not your typical superhero movie, and I think that's what we need right about now. Something a little bit different. And I think it was refreshing, it was entertaining, and it really surprised me and caught me off guard. But that's all I have for you guys in this episode. As always, you can check out the podcast. I will do a spoiler-filled review on the audio podcast you can find over at comicbooksavant.com. Putting this review out now as of Monday. The podcast episodes, podcast episodes go up normally Tuesday afternoon, so you can go to the website comicbooksavant.com, or I normally upload the audio feed also to the YouTube channel, so you should be able to get that spoiler-filled review tomorrow afternoon on this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, please do so in the description box down below. Please subscribe to the channel. Share it with friends if you want to give them a non-spoiler review of Spider-Man or any of the other content you see on the channel. Please like and share and subscribe. I'm just starting this channel up, so the more you do that, the more that helps me out. And make sure you smash that like button as well. That's all I have for you guys for this episode. I'll see you again on Comic Book Savant video. You take care and have a good week.